Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Tuesdays Does It Hold Up podcast. I'm Adam.
And I'm Emily.
And this is normally where we pitch you a sequel or a reboot, something to do with last Friday's full episode of the Does It Hold Up podcast, but we're changing things up again. We weren't really getting the listeners and the viewership that we were hoping for with those sequels and reboots, and personally, they're kind of hard to pitch week in, week out, right?
Oh, yeah. No.
Sometimes these movies don't need one, or they already have one, or it's a little tough.
Yeah,
So-
it takes a lot of work.
So we're changing things up a little bit. Not that we don't mind the work, because what we're giving you is also a lot of work. But every Tuesday, you're going to get a special episode based on Fridays. We're just not sure exactly what it's always going to be. But this week, we have something really fun for everybody.
Oh,
But
yeah.
also, I do apologize for anybody who liked our sequel reboot pitches. Every now and then, we're still going to pitch them when we have something really, really good we want to talk about. But that's not every week. So, this week, we are bringing you
A super fight.
Super Fights. What's it about?
We are getting 5 of the most famous vampires, sticking them in an arena, and having them battle it out to see who will come out on top.
Let's set the rules.
Yes.
This is how this super fight works. Emily and I reached in to these movie universes and we plucked each one of these vampires after their first movie. Some of these vampires are in more than one movie. We're not counting the sequels. It's their first movie only. We reached into their universe, we plucked them out, we threw them into an empty arena on neutral ground, and we said, fight until there's only one of you standing. All right. Now that the rules are under control, let's give the people what they came for. Let's let them know
Who do we have?
who we got. First up, hailing all the way from the Underworld franchise, played by Kate Beckinsale, we have Selene. Selene is 600 plus years old. Her strengths include superhuman strength, speed, agility, stamina, increased healing, increased senses, climbing ability, weapons expertise, and combat expertise.
She is a death dealer.
Her weaknesses are UV light, sunlight. She can die from an excessive amount of injuries. She's emotional and curious. Can't wait to see how that weakness plays in.
Mm-hmm.
Who's our second vampire?
Our second vampire coming from the world of Twilight, we have Edward Cullen.
Played by Robert Pattinson.
He is a little over 100 years old. His powers include superhuman strength, stamina, and speed. He is a mind reader, has perfect night vision, is intelligent, immune to sunlight. His weaknesses are fire, he's moody AF, and he is vegan, so he is technically weaker than most vampires.
Ooh, okay. Vampire number 3. Coming from the world of Anne Rice, Interview with the Vampire, we have Tom Cruise's Lestat De Lioncourt.
I didn't even know he had a last name.
He is 200 plus years old. His strengths include superhuman strength, speed, agility, telepathy, flight, improved senses, and persuasion/manipulation.
Okay.
His weaknesses are fire, decapitation, becoming weak from not feeding, he has to feed constantly, sunlight, dead blood, so if he drinks the blood of a dead person or animal, it can kill him, and he is arrogant as hell.
All right. Coming from the universe of Blade, we have Blade. He is...
Played by Wesley Snipes.
Yes. He is sub 100 years old. He is the youngest on our list. His abilities include superhuman strength and speed, hand-to-hand combat, weapons mastery, and he is invulnerable to sunlight. His weaknesses are that he is only half vampire, so he is rather weak. He has an uncontrollable thirst, which he uses serum to satiate, and he can be killed by normal weapons.
All right. And the final vampire, last minute edition, all the way from the world of animated movies, Hotel Transylvania's own Dracula.
The one,
Voiced
the only.
by Adam Sandler. Dracula is 500 plus years old. His strengths include super speed, flight, climbs anything, super healing, mind control, not just mind reading, mind control, telekinesis. He can freeze you with just a look. He can control electricity, and he has fire manipulation. His weaknesses are he gets an upset tummy when he eats garlic. He's weak to sunlight. It doesn't kill him, except for long exposure can kill him. Stake to the heart will kill him. And he's superly family focused and emotional.
He's also not that intelligent.
Oh, he's dumb as hell. He is dumb as hell. And it's possible when we get into this fight, maybe his powers aren't all they're cracked up to be.
Because in researching this, I was like, dang, his list just keeps going. He
But
has
do
so
they?
many powers.
All right. Are you ready?
I believe so.
Then in 3, 2, 1, let them fight. All right, what do you got? Come on, hit me with something. We got round 1. Every single vampire is on the field right now.
Yeah.
Who is the first one eliminated?
It is a little bit of a toss-up.
Between who?
I really would think that, like, Blade and Selene would kind of go at each other, but at the same time, I don't think Dracula is ready for a fight.
I agree, but his powers are exponential, and he has the ability to flight. So hear me out. I immediately take Lestat and Dracula out of the equation in round 1.
I don't think he's necessarily, like, smart enough to get out of the way fast enough.
I mean, he's fast. Even
Not
if
as
they come
fast
at
as the
him,
other
he
ones.
could move. He could move. He 100% could move. And they can't fly. So they might be fast. But if he goes straight up, guess what? They got nothing for that.
Except for guns. Selene literally has a gun that has direct sunlight, basically, in it. That makes them explode.
Great. Doesn't matter. He can dodge. He can dodge a bullet.
Dodge, dip, dive.
Yes. You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a ball. And he can dodge a bullet. So,
Maybe.
my thing is, it's either Blade, Edward, or Selene has to go out in the first round because I think the other two just fly off. I think they just hover and watch what happens because, one, Lestat definitely does. He's too smart to get involved quickly. He will hover and he will watch what's happening.
Plus, it kind of feels like he's so arrogant. He's like, I don't want to get my hands dirty in the beginning.
Facts. So he's automatically through for me.
Okay, I can see that.
Drac, yeah, he's dumb, but he's not a fighter. Meaning if they start fighting, he's going to remove himself from the fight. Therefore, he also flies up and out. He moves on to round 2.
I guess.
So, Edward, Blade, Selene. Who survives and who dies?
Out of all of them, the strongest on that field is Selene. She is the oldest in her universe. That makes her very, very strong. Plus, she's sired by one of the elders of their kind. So she's the strongest on the field right now. I think she would survive this fight.
All right. I can concede that. I can say, yes, she absolutely will go on to round 2.
But
So now it's Blade and Edward. Which one of them doesn't go through?
I would say...
And why is it Blade?
I was going to say I think it's probably Blade. Simply because he would probably have to fight both Edward and Selene at the same time.
All right. I have a completely different reasoning.
Okay.
The reason Blade dies in the first round and doesn't continue, which is sad for me because Blade is amazing and he spent his entire life planning to fight vampires. But these vampires all have different sets of rules.
Just not these vampires.
Correct. But he looks like a threat.
Oh, yeah.
He would attack uncontrollably. because that's what he does. He runs in and just fights. But he's unprepared for what these two can bring to the table. And that half-human side of him makes him vulnerable.
Very vulnerable. Although he is wearing armor, so they'd kind of have to go for a headshot.
Selene can get off 100 rounds a second. Blade's dead.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
And Edward is much stronger, much faster, and the only two things they have together are they're both immune to the sun, but Blade doesn't have that kind of ability. So the minute Edward reads Blade's mind and realizes he's a vampire hunter, he's got to take him out of the equation, and it's over.
That's fair, although I feel like Edward is probably not as fast or as skilled as the vampires Blade is used to going up against, so the tipping factor would have to be Selene.
But it's the strength for me. It doesn't matter if he's fast. He's still stronger than Blade. He's still faster and stronger than Blade.
But I feel like Blade has had to go against stronger vampires in his universe.
Understood. But we're talking about just his first movie. And we just did the Does It Hold Up podcast for Blade. If you guys haven't listened to that one yet, go check it out. Came out last Friday. But I said it in the podcast. His vampires feel very human. They're very human. We never see them move at sonic speeds.
That's fair.
Hypersonic, supersonic, subsonic. They don't move at those kind of speeds. Yeah, they're strong, but it's not like we're watching them lift cars and whip them around. The only person we see really be strong in that movie is Frost. And Frost only loses to Blade because he's arrogant and trying to become a god. A naughty vampire god. So I think if Edward wanted, it's over.
Okay. I will agree. Blade goes out first round.
Ooh, tough loss.
I
Blade,
know.
you're gone, man. My good sir. You are out right away.
Yep.
All right, moving on to round 2. Edward, Selene, Lestat, Dracula.
Yep.
Who goes out?
I believe it's going to be Edward.
I believe it's Dracula. Let's talk.
Okay. It might be Dracula. You can definitely persuade me on that one. It depends. I honestly think Lestat would figure out that, those two would figure out they're both mind readers and want to take that out of the equation.
I don't think so. I think Lestat is manipulative and persuasive and smart, meaning he sees another mind reader on the field. That's a clear advantage they have over the other two. It guarantees him passage to the next round.
I don't think so. I think Lestat will see that as a threat and realize that he needs help to take him down.
I don't know. That's a good argument. But I think it's Drac for 2 reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Drac doesn't fight. He's not an aggressive person. He's not a fighter. He had the advantage in the first round because there were 3 people on the ground. Now there's only 2 people on the ground. And clearly, I don't think Selene wants to kill Edward right away. We already said one of her weaknesses was curiosity. You don't think she's going to be like, why do you sparkle? Where are your teeth? Why aren't you like a normal vampire? She's not going to want to kill him right away.
I mean, she wouldn't know that he sparkles since we're
still not gonna wanna
policing
kill
this
him.
fight at night because obviously 3 of them would die.
But she's still not going to kill him
away.
right away. He's completely different from every other vampire. Lestat is like vampires she knows. Drac is like vampires she knows. Edward, not at all. He looks like a human. He acts like a human. And he feeds on animals. If he even mentions that or says anything, she's all of a sudden going, I feel like I want to talk to you more than I want to kill you. I want to know what you're all about.
Yeah, I could see her having a little more compassion towards Edward.
Exactly. So
she might get that vibe off of him.
So I think if somebody attacks Edward, she jumps in because she wants to, I guess for right now at least, protect him to learn more about him. And I think Lestat's not dumb enough to attack both. So he would manipulate Drac into getting involved. Drac's dead.
Lestat would have to push him down towards the ground, and once he's there, they all would get him. The only
Absolutely.
reason I would say that she would have more aggression towards Dracula than Edward would be the name recognition.
Yeah, if they all said their names, if he was like, haha, I don't need to fight you, I'm Dracula. Oh, Selene's going to be pissed. Lestat's going to be pissed.
Yeah, that is a name everyone recognizes.
Yeah, he's like the oldest. Although apparently he's not that old, according to Hotel Transylvania, but, you know.
Still.
He's only 500. Selene's 600.
But that's the idea, is like he is the most famous vampire of all time. Even if in their world he doesn't actually exist, he exists in their, like, in books.
In their lore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere in their lore, he exists. That's how she would know he's a threat. And that's why she would, if Lestat.
And I think he's dumb enough to be manipulated into joining the fight. I think Lestat overpowers him intellectually, pushes him down into the battle, and he doesn't last very long because, yes, he has telekinesis. But while he's busy using telepathy on Edward, Selene cuts his head off. Or if he's busy working on Selene, Lestat cuts his head off. I think he can't match all three. And
It's fair. I really think this battle seems to come down to Lestat, because I think he is the one manipulative enough that he would be the one kind of calling the shots. Does he think Dracula is more of a threat, or is Edward more of a threat being a mind reader? Because he knows he can probably manipulate
he also knows
Selene.
Yeah, but he knows Drac's mind. He's read Drac's mind. He knows Drac can use telekinesis. He knows he can use telepathy. He knows he can just glance at you and literally freeze you in your shoes. He knows that he can mind control you. Lestat's not an idiot. He knows these things, and those are all a threat.
So in your head, he thinks Dracula is more of a threat.
100%.
Okay.
And let me just throw this out there because I said it at the beginning. Drac goes into this fight going, I'm going to use these powers that I have. And I think he succeeds to a point, but not enough to ever kill anybody because, again, I don't think he's aggressive enough to kill anybody. I don't think he has to kill anybody, and that's why he doesn't. He's hid away for hundreds of years. What, Mavis is turning 118, right?
Yeah.
In the movie? For at least 118 years, he has not been in the human world and has had no contact with people outside of his friends.
That's fair.
That's a long time where you don't have to fight or scrounge for food.
I'll agree. Drac goes out next.
And Drac tries to use his little mind control. We know that crap don't work. Watch the movie. He can't even use that on a weak-ass human.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he has a lot of powers, but none of them
Are honed enough.
are honed enough and useful enough against these other vampires.
If he was maybe in his prime, maybe.
Right,
But
maybe
like
300-year-old.
This version of Drac where he is so domesticated.
Where he's become a father. Father weakened him.
Fatherhood,
weakened
having
him.
the hotel, like
Yep.
everything kind of weakened him. Yeah, okay. I could see
So
him going out.
he's
second.
out.
Yep.
Second round.
All right.
All right. Blade's out round 1.
Yep.
Drac's out round 2.
Yep.
Round 3.
Now
Selene,
this
Edward, Lestat.
one is going to be Edward.
Oh.
I think Lestat sees him as a threat and finds a way to manipulate Selene into helping him.
Does he see Edward as a threat, or does he see Selene as a threat who's literally a vampire hunter, basically?
I think he would see Edward as a threat for the mind reading. I think he's arrogant enough to think that he can read Selene's mind quick enough to combat her.
But is he arrogant enough to also go, you're a mind reader, I'm a mind reader, but my mind is more powerful than your mind, so you are nothing to me?
I don't know. I foresee him seeing that being as the threat because he is smart and he is a mind reader. He's like, that's two of my biggest things. I need to get that person out of the battle.
Or is Lestat the one who gets out, who gets killed?
I think he's just more manipulative than
Yeah,
Edward.
but does he manipulate? Okay, so let's say he manipulates Selene to help him kill Edward.
Yeah.
You don't think Edward, compassionate, vegan Edward, could appeal to Selene?
Not if it's a one person only wins. If that's the only victory, then she knows she's going to have to kill him at some point.
Understood. No. But I'm saying she's being manipulated by Lestat. You don't think Edward could be like, Selene, you're being manipulated right now. He's the real threat. We need to take him out. And then she opens fire on him, hits him a few times. He comes back down to the earth. They team up on him and dead.
That's a very good point.
I'm gonna posit this to you, and I don't know. You think about this for a second.
Okay.
Edward goes through to the final round. It's either Selene or Lestat gone in this round. Think about which one you think dies. Or if you really think it's Edward goes out.
I think out of that, Selene might see Lestat as a bigger threat. I think she would choose to go after Lestat.
I think so too, and I think Edward would help because he sees Selene as somebody he might be able to reason with, and there's a way that they might be able to get out of this both alive. But Lestat doesn't care.
Oh yeah, no, he's a cold-blooded killer.
He's the Joker of the vampire world. He does not care. He wants
to
to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
So I'm just positing that. If you have any other notions, please convince me.
No, because I think I was thinking of Selene just being kind of used, but she's also strong-willed, and
I mean, she's the oldest vampire. She's been through it all. She's seen it all.
So I think she shoots him down, and Edward could finish it.
Who finishes it and how?
I think Selene is what brings him to the ground. She might finish him, depending on if she's using her UV rounds. That might just kill him on its own. So
That's fair.
she can't use that on Edward. Otherwise, she probably would have done that by now.
Well, she doesn't know she can't use it on Edward yet, unless she's tried.
She could have tried.
We don't know.
But
all right,
the way we're putting it is she is not going after Edward.
Final verdict. Who's out in round 3?
Lestat.
Damn.
Yeah.
I convinced you again.
Yeah. I realize he is the bigger threat on that battlefield.
Absolutely. Okay. Blade's out in round 1. Dracula's out in round 2. Lestat is out in round 3.
Yep.
Final round. Round 4.
Yeah.
600-year-old Selene versus 100-year-old Edward. Sparkly Edward. Doesn't even have teeth, Edward.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I forgot to mention Edward does have is vampire venom that can hurt each other with biting.
Yeah, not really. I think once you're already a vampire, you're a vampire.
His blood is poisonous to other vampires, though. Like
when is that talked
his
about? No, his bite transforming in that world is very painful. That's what that is.
I don't know. It just said he has vampire venom when he bites people.
Yeah, that's when he bites humans, not other vampires. They never say that for vampires,
All right.
so I wouldn't.
So
put that in
Selene
there.
versus Edward. Who do you got and why?
It hurts my heart to say Edward would win that fight.
Ooh, why?
Because he has to die in a very specific way. He has to be dismembered and lit on fire, and I don't think...
And lit on fire. Not or. Dismembered and lit on fire.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I know, I'm just over-exaggerating.
Oh, okay.
And, for
That's
our
the
listeners,
thing.
and.
I don't think Selene will figure that out in enough time. I think had it come down to Lestat and Edward, Lestat would have won, because he would have been able to figure it out with the mind reading.
And that could be why Edward and Selene took Lestat out in the last round. Maybe Edward knew that.
Could be.
All right.
It really saddens me to say because Edward is pretty much the weakest one on that field. He should not win.
Blade's the weakest. He's half human. He's definitely the weakest on the field.
Fair. But on the field now, Edward should not win that fight. It is only because in that mythos, he can die in only a very specific way that he wins.
But Selene's been around the block once or twice. You don't think she's fought people that have to die in very specific ways?
No.
Over 600 years of fighting vampires. You don't think so?
She spent 600 years fighting lycans, not vampires. She only started fighting vampires in that last movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's had problems with vampires the whole time.
Literally, the only way that they killed the lycans was shooting them a whole bunch with lead, and even that wouldn't always kill them.
Fair.
She has that world has very a limitless way of those people to die because she can die to basic injury. Losing blood for them is death.
So I can't remember. Maybe you do. Does she have incendiary rounds?
I don't believe so.
Ooh, because that would be the tipping point for me. If she does have incendiary rounds, she wins. Because
I think
you shoot him enough with incendiary rounds, you're knocking body parts off and lighting him on fire, that's enough to take him down.
I mean, yeah, lighting him on fire just in general would probably mess him up. Like if there's no way for him to put it out.
Right, like,
that
okay,
might kill
so
him.
if she lights him on fire and while he's around, she goes, okay, I got to obviously do more, cut his head off. He's dead. It's over. So does she still win? She can figure that out.
She might. I just think he would be able to inflict enough damage on her in the time that it would take her to figure that out, unfortunately. Because, like I said, in her universe, she gets weak to blood loss. Literally, she gets stabbed in the shoulder and she passes out.
I think you are correct. And my one point to add to everything you've said so far is I'm going to go back to her weakness being curiosity. I think she pumps him full of lead, full of UV bullets, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
He starts sparkling from the inside.
Yeah.
And she is dumbfounded by this. And I think she cuts off arms. I think she injures him so bad, and he still won't die. And she is floored by that and cannot figure it out. And I think it frustrates her. And I think she wants to know more. And in her weakened state of like confusion, that is the only moment Edward gets the upper hand and kills her.
Yeah. I mean, the whole idea of you have to finish everyone, otherwise you can't go home. Edward's whole thing is about his family. He'd want to get home to that.
Absolutely.
So it would give him the aggression to finish it.
Did we just say that the strongest vampire or the smartest or the one that could at least survive a battle royal is a Twilight vampire?
Basically because the writer was like, hey, I'm going to...
Screw everybody else. Okay.
Literally that.
Oh, my God. All right. Well... All right, so...
In other circumstances, he would not win.
All right,
he would
so
not
consensus.
die.
Consensus. Yeah. Who wins the battle royal?
Unfortunately, Edward, in the way that we've put it out there.
I agree.
But there's easier way. There are many other ways that this could go down.
Absolutely. If Lestat figures out that Edward can only die in that way in an early round, Edward's out.
Because he would do it just
for
like
fun.
That.
Yeah, he would do it for fun.
Yeah.
So, yes, there are other ways. So, please, if you disagree with us, come let us know.
Yeah, let us know your version of events.
Of how this fight plays out. Who loses each round and who wins overall. So, we have it in this order. Blade's out in the first round. Drax out in the second round. Lestat's out in the third round. Selene's out in the fourth round. Edward wins.
Yep.
All right.
It makes me so sad
there
to
we
say
go,
that,
guys.
Yes.
That was our super fight. Let us know on the socials what you guys thought. You can find us on Twitter at DoesItHoldUp13. You can find us on Instagram at DoesItHoldUp13. TikTok, DoesItHoldUp, _ between each word. This podcast can be found anywhere, especially on Podbean, where you can leave us comments and let us know what you thought. You can also find us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Does It Hold Up with a question mark. And also on YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube, let us know in the comments. If you're listening anywhere else, you can come follow us on YouTube at Does It Hold Up, where we drop our podcasts every week, and we also daily drop fun movie facts, things you might not have noticed about movies or have known about movies. Great little time.
And some fun reviews for newer movies.
Yes, and we do review newer movies, not as full podcasts, just as shorts, but it's a good time as well. So come hit us up on any of those socials. Let us know what you thought about this episode if you want to see more super fights. And in the meantime, you know exactly what to do. Keep watching movies.
Bye.